Welcome back.
Did you miss these?
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell by the look on your face that it meant a lot to you, but how big of a surprise was getting the UFC Hall of Fame induction tonight? And talk us through your emotions.
Yeah, words can't even express. I was talking with Megan earlier about throughout my career, everyone says future Hall of Famer, and it just like rattles off. It's just words. It's not a real thing until it's a real thing. It's crazy. Man, I'm taken away and honored, to be honest. I don't really have words to express. I almost brought one of my boys with me, and my wife was like, no, we don't need to go. It's okay. Like, you just go to work. It'll be fine. And then I was texting my wife today, and it was like green text. I'm like, why is your phone green? Like, where the fuck are you? Like, and she didn't respond. And I was like, she's just letting me come out here and do what I got to do. And then they did it, and I had no clue my family was even here. So that was another surprise. Like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, that is cool. You said yourself, like, oh, people talk about it and stuff like that. I'm sure, like you said, it doesn't really feel real. But when you see the thing and you see yourself in it, do you feel like a Hall of Famer, if that makes sense? Do you think like, yeah, God damn it, I am in the UFC Hall of Fame?
Now it's sinking in to be like, yeah, I'm in the Hall. It's cool. It's what an honor, man. I mean, you look across any major league sport, and the Hall of Famers that's an important thing, man. And to be with the greats of Chuck Liddell and Anderson Silva and Uriah, I mean, the list goes. It's not that big of a list, to be honest with you, in our game. So you had to be hanging on the wall on the PI. It's going to be cool.
Yeah. When you retired in Vegas, I got the impression that you were like ready to get out.
Yeah.
You've been out for a little bit now. Missing it at all? No.
I don't. I miss the camaraderie. I miss all you guys back here. I miss this. I miss the training with the groups and getting ready. But being in there and fighting, I don't. It was time. It was time to bow out. And like I said, I'm going to Hollywood, man, and that's my next plan. That's my next mission. So I enjoy moving forward with all that and loving the adventure I'm on now. But there's days I think back, like, man, do we have one more in us? Do we go back for 2 and have 50? And a lot of things are starting to make sense in my mind as I'm wrapping my head around this with the conversations I've had with Dana and Hunter over the past few months, and everything that happened today and yesterday, just talking with people in the lobby and how my buddy Ozzy took me to lunch today so they could sneak my family into the hotel. And I'm like, shouldn't you be at the arena? Like, the fights are going on. Like, what do you mean you want to go grab a beer with me? And I'm like, fuck it, let's go get a beer, right? But just how everything happened, and like I said, I'm honored.
Yeah. If you're going to Hollywood, you might have to change your politics a little bit, I think.
Nah, I'll just get canceled. It'll be all right.
Won't take you long. How has retirement been? What have you been up to? You're looking a little bit bigger than the last time we saw you.
Yeah, man, I got my hair done, so the hair's growing in. Got on steroids, so I couldn't come back if I wanted to right now. I feel good, man. I'm healthy, happy, and just, man, enjoying a lot of time with the kids and growing up with my family. And like I said, chasing Hollywood, which is a lot like starting from the very beginning and wanting to be a UFC fighter again is how I feel. I just re-entered that realm again, and so strap your boots on, let's go.
Yeah, it's the muscles, the hair. It's like a glow up, right?
That's it. The new and improved me, the midlife crisis.
Well, man, listen, for all of us, then congratulations and happy for you.
And Donald, what does it mean to you that the UFC recognized you, right? Like, this is basically like you're entering the UFC Hall of Fame is because of that fighting spirit, right? Anywhere, anytime, against anybody. And even now that you have retired, like you know, sometimes us media members ask like other fighters questions like, oh, do you want to be like the Donald Cerrone of, like that means active and just fighting all the time? What does it mean that they recognize you?
So today I did before this fight started, we had like a fan experience, and everyone like, oh, you're a legend. It's cool to be a legend in the fans' eyes, Like, I'm like, wow, like that was really sinking into me today for some odd reason. Like, everyone kept saying that, and for the UFC to bring me in, like I said, I don't have words for it. I'm so blown away, man. It's insane, and I look at all the new kids coming up and the guys that say, right now, in my era, I remember like you would fight anybody, just fight him. I mean, at least me. And now I see a lot of people like, well, I don't want to fight him because if I don't fight him, I could fight this guy, maybe circumnavigate away. Like I see there's a lot of like manipulating of the system going on now, and so they say they want to fight anyone anywhere until they get the call, and they're like, except for that guy, right? So when I said I did that, like I did it.
Yeah, for sure. And they brought in your kids, and that was a beautiful scene. Beyond the personal, right, what it means for you to be a Hall of Famer, how nice is it to, like, kind of leave that legacy that your kids will know that, like, hey, my dad is a UFC Hall of Famer. That's in the history.
Yeah, man, my kids have no idea right now. Like, the UFC action figures we have, I get beat up by the Ninja Turtles on a daily basis. Like, Dad, can Dad win a fight one time? Like, could I please win? Like, you know, I'm paired up with Shredder. You know, we just get beat up all the time. So, it'll be once they finally get to the age where they understand it, it'll be a cool conversation.
Yeah. And I just want to also to follow up on something that you said, that, like, you know, you're retired and you're done. Like, you don't have that feeling to want to go back. Did you ever have fear, like, before going into retirement? You know, some guys retire and then they always want to get that itch, and sort of they're not at peace with their retirement. They're always making this comebacks, you know, hashtag MMA retirement or whatever. How happy are you that, like, you reached that point and you don't have sort of an urge to step back?
Man, I did it on my terms. You know, that's kind of how I lived my whole life. I did it my way, and no one forced me out of the UFC. Didn't come to me and were like, "Hey, man, you better win, or we're gonna cut you." You know, and it was just, I felt it in me. It was time, you know, and that was the hardest secret I've ever kept in my whole life. Like, that fight, getting canceled, pushback, getting canceled. You know, it took us 3 trips to do that fight, and keeping that secret to myself and not letting my wife or any of my training partners, anybody know, was the hardest secret I've ever kept in my whole life. But I didn't have it anymore. You know, I felt it going into that camp, like, and the motivation you try to, like, if this is your last time, if this was the last time, you would give it 100%. You would go out there and give it all. I'm like, man, but I just don't have that in the tank anymore. And that's when I knew. You know, that's really when I knew that it was time.
Congrats again.
Thank you.
I've just got one more, actually. You talk about the younger fighters. Is there anyone you see that you're like, that guy is the next Cowboy? I'm going to give my hat to him. He can be the next guy. This guy will be the next guy. Cowboy.
Oh, man. Yair Rodriguez. That's my dude. And him winning the interim title made me so happy. I remember training with him before he was in the UFC, and yes, he's hard to deal with. I understand. Probably.
Yeah, I don't know if the UFC will agree with you.
Yeah, and I go to bat. I went to bat with him on 2 different occasions with Hunter. Like, that's my dude. Like, give him, like, let's figure out. He lost his passport, couldn't get his visa. Like, it was a whole bunch of. But he means business. When he goes out there, you see him throw and be ready, and like, wow, he's the one.
And I want to do a follow-up on that. I've talked to Jair a bunch, and something that he's always thanked you for and always mentioned is that you made him realize that, like, you need to make this career fun. You need to find ways to enjoy training, or else, you know, what are you doing, right? What advice did you tell him specifically? Because it seems like he took that to heart, and, you know, even to this day, he's mentioning that.
I mean, he's been a big part of my entire career. When I would literally call him, like, hey, we got another camp. You want to come down? Like, I know you also have a fight. And he was like, yeah, I'll be right there. And he would just literally drive from Mexico to my house, and he would come train. He was just always, like, my number one fan, man. He was always there, riding bikes with me, swimming with me, whatever I wanted to do, he was there. And in return, I taught him how to have fun and enjoy the journey, right? So it's cool that it worked, and he listened and enjoyed it. And now, look at the motherfucker, right?
Yeah, it seems he's going to do the title unification bout, or at least that's what we hear with Volkanovski sometime in the summer. I'm guessing you'll be present for that one?
Oh, 100,000,000% I'll be there. No, even if I'm the last seat in the top row, I'll be there.
Awesome.
Hey, Cowboy, right here. I just wanted to know, like, as an MMA fan, like, I've kind of grown up with your entire career. Like, I remember watching, like, the Razor Rob fights and the Jamie Varner fights, and now seeing you here on the stage as a Hall of Famer. Like, what is that like to you when you hear something like that? Like, hey, man, I literally grew up.
Well, again, today, with the fan experience, I had so many people say to me, like, man, I used to watch you when I was a kid. I'm like, damn, you're making me feel old, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've had the conversation with a bunch of people. They're like, man, I watched you my whole career, like your whole career when I was a kid to now. And I'm like, fuck, now you're running a beer? Like, goddamn, I feel super old. No, and the most important thing, I had 2 or 3 different kids come in. Like, my goal is to get in the UFC. Like, this is the kids. I said, no, your goal needs to be to stay in the UFC. Like, don't just get here. You don't want to be the one-hit wonder. Like, get here. The hardest thing you can do is staying in the UFC, right? Like, getting here, wouldn't say it's easy, but it's not the end all. But getting and staying and becoming the person that everyone looks up to, that's what you want to strive for. So if I can pass the torch, that's what I'd say. Like, be the person that people can look up to. Be the man that, like, I want my kid to grow up and model that guy. You know, he's a stand-up dude, and it's always what my grandma tried to instill in me. So I tried to carry that with me everywhere I went and be a good guy.
And then, how important has your relationship been with the fans? Because I remember seeing you at the Justin Gaethje fight. Justin Gaethje was at the open workouts, and he was sitting there cracking pads. You were cutting weight at the time, but you went out, you said hi, and you could have just gone back. But I remember you stayed and you signed every single autograph, took every single picture that day, all while cutting weight. So I mean, the relationship with the fans seems like it's pretty important to you.
Yeah, man, I just always told myself, Cowboy, when someone wants to take a picture with you or an autograph, you do it, because one day they're not going to ask anymore. So I just tried to relish in that all the time and enjoy it. It's cool. Even today, like, it's like such an honor to look down the line and have a bunch of people wanting to stand there and take a picture with just a regular dude, you know? And that's how I still feel. I don't look at myself as like a superstar. I look at myself like, man, I'm just a regular old cowboy. Like, if y'all want to take a picture, fuck yeah, I'll stand here all day and take a picture with you. So it's cool.
And then my last one, is there any like BMF ranch story you can give us, maybe with D-Rod or with Yair, just off the top of your head?
I mean, Yair and probably. Have you ever seen Dumb and Dumber where they ride together on the bike? So I have an awesome picture of, we call him fucking Chilito, but Yair and my Thai coach coming in off the track, holding each other, one looking off the side, both smiling ear to ear, like, oh yeah, you guys are having fun. So that's probably my best memory of those two just being idiots.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Cowboy.
And one question, something just came to mind. I spoke to, I forgot if it was Chito or Jair, but when they were in the developmental deal at Jackson's, there was a bunch of them. They didn't have a car. They borrowed one of your trucks.
Sure.
What was it like having, seeing them, come in as like, in their teens or early 20s, and now we got Chito fighting in the main event, Jair champion, Brandon Moreno, who was in that developmental deal, champion as well. It seems, that crop sort of has been giving a lot of fruit.
Yeah, I mean, again, I had an extra truck and they were in need of a ride, so I just, the way my grandma raised me, man, if I have something, it's all of ours, man. Let's use it. Let's do it. Let's all work on the same goal to go. But to see those guys, I knew both those boys were going to be something, man. I mean, just training with them, you can tell when you're training with someone, like, they have it. They have it. Whatever it is, I don't know. They got it. And so, yeah, it was something special to watch them grow up and become they are now. And now I'm the fan sitting in the chair watching them, which is really cool, right? They started watching me, and now the title has changed, and I'm sitting in the bleachers like, hell yeah.